Hi crafters, it's Kelly from Kelly's Crafts, and today I'm going to show you all about the Take Your Pick tool. Now tell me, how many of you have the Take Your Pick tool, and how many of you actually use your Take Your Pick tool or even know the different ways to use it? Well, I'm here to show you as many ways as I can recall using myself on ways to use a Take Your Pick tool. I think there's some that you may not have thought about. So if you are at all interested in this tool, I would hope that you would wait until after this video so that you can see how to use it. Then if you're interested, you can always go to my website for checking out all of the tools on my online craft store at Kelly's Crafts. Those are both letter K's, .stampinup.net. That'll take you to my online store where you can find all kinds of crafting tools as well as stamps, ink, and paper. Anything else that I've used today, I will supply links in the description below of those items just in case you are interested in those as well. Okay, let me show you how this works. Okay, so here we have the Take Your Pick tool. It has two ends. They both have caps on. This end is the putty tool end. This has putty, making it easy to pick up pieces of cardstock, rhinestones, any of those kinds of things. It's really great. It's a sticky putty that doesn't stick to anything. Well, it doesn't permanently stick to anything, but it sticks to things so that you can pick them up really easily. Let's just show you real quick. See how nicely that picks that up. And all you have to do is twist this to get a little bit more putty. But this putty, my gosh, this putty that's on the end here will probably last me, I don't know, maybe 4 months. It lasts a long, long time. It just eventually maybe loses a little bit of its sticking. Maybe I need to have something that's a little bit grabbier. So I might just wipe it off and it's a tiny twist too. It's like a 1/4 inch of a twist. I'll go into that more in a little bit. And then we have the other end. This is what I call the pokey tool. This is great for poking holes, for picking up adhesive dots. It's good for removing tear and tape, grabbing glue dots, removing dimensionals out of their package or even the backings off of them. And it's great for punching out all of those little pieces in a die set that has little pieces that are still stuck in there. So they're real handy. And what a lot of people don't know is all you have to do is twist this end, and you'll find at the other end is a spatula. So again, you can just put that in, twist it to lock, and now you have a putty tool. Great for scooping and spreading paste, helping to remove dies from the die cut machine. If you've ever die cut something and the dies are really, really embedded into the plate, and you can kind of scoop them up with this. So this can be really helpful. I will find that my pokey end is really the end that I use the most. Then also a part of the pack is a double-ended stylus. So you've got a small end to the stylus and a larger end of the stylus. Again, you can put it in either end, lock it to use one end, twist it, put the other one in, twist it to lock it, and you've got the other end. Depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for a nice crisp, say you're scoring something. If you're scoring designer series paper, I would use the larger end because your smaller end may have a tendency, depending on how hard you press, it could tear through the paper because it's thinner. So I would use the bigger one because it's a little fatter, not as pointy, and it's not going to likely tear your DSP. I typically use the smaller one for that because I'm usually scoring cardstock, and this is great for scoring cardstock. And there's several other ways that we're going to be using that today. So I'm going to be using this one as well. It also comes with an extra putty end. Take the top of it. And you'll see that this is a refill. I haven't used it at all. So it's full of putty in there. And all you need to do is get that going, give it a good quarter of a twist, but you're going to have to give it a moment. If you twist that and you don't see any putty coming out, don't twist it some more. Give that a good 10-15 seconds because it's a hard putty. It's a slow putty, so it's going to take a little bit to scoot on out. If you don't see anything in 15 seconds or so, go ahead and give it another quarter turn, especially when you're starting a brand new one, because it's going to take a while to maybe get to the top before it starts poking out. Once it comes out, maybe all you need is like 1/8 of an inch. Just kind of smash it down on the tip and you're ready to go. So I still have this whole full putty to use. This is another piece. It's an attachment to the Take Your Pick tool. This is the older style that I have, and so it doesn't have the attachment to fit into your Take Your Pick tool, but the ones today screw into this end so that you would have the brush end, and this one is great for cutting out or pushing all those little pieces out of a die brush, popping out the remnants of dies. And I'll give you an example of that today as well. But this does come a part of the set to screw in to this end of your Take Your Pick tool. So that's all of our parts. So I'm going to get started showing you some of the ways that I use it. So let me start with what I call the pokey tool. So this one obviously is poking. This one pokes really great holes. So if you need to poke holes in something, for whatever the reason might be, if you need to poke holes, there's your tool. So one example that I wanted to give you today that maybe most people may not think about is I took a pen, and with a ruler, I made a bunch of dots down the side of this paper. Then I came back with my pokey tool, and right in the middle of those dots, I poked a little hole. On all of those, I poked little holes. And then what I did is I came back afterwards with a needle and thread, as you can see there, and I just thread it through those holes so it looks like stitching. Can you see that? I think that's a really cool look. So if you've got the time and the patience, that's a really cool way to maybe put some edging on your project. But that's a good way to use your pokey tool. Another one would be a way to pick up adhesive dots. And so, let's see. What do I have? Got some projects here. How about this guy? No, I may want him on dimensionals. Oh, what the heck. I'm just going to put some dots back here. So these are my glue dots. There's only 2 of them left in the package, but I thought today is a good way to use those up. So I'm just going to take my pokey tool. You can grab it off of there yourself too, but depending on your dexterity, I will just pick it up off of the plastic, put it here on my project, and it's ready to go. Let me grab this other one. Now that's garbage. Put this down. And now all I'm going to have to do is take this, lift up the backings, and now you have adhesive to put this down onto your project. Great way to do that. Then we have removing tear and tape. Let me use this as an example. Tear and tape comes in a roll, and all you have to do is take a piece and tear it off. I'm just going to put, let me see, which end do I want to keep? I might trim both ends down. So I am just going to put this right here. And say, for example, you wanted this to be along the whole edge, you can pull it out, press it down, and then rip it off. It's just really great because you can tear it. It's light enough to do that. But this is one of the most strongest adhesive that Stampin' Up! Sells. There's Stampin' Seal Plus, which is more like a tape runner. But this is really, really strong stuff. So this is a really great adhesive to have in your toolbox, especially for projects that are moving. So you need something that's going to be moving, maybe a fancy fold that's going to be sliding or moving a lot, then that is going to be your best friend. Maybe even in a slot where you have a piece that's going to be a gift card holder. I would suggest using that because that's going to be really, really strong stuff. But it's also really convenient. If I was going to be needing to put adhesive on a little 1/4 of an inch piece of something, shoot, make it easy on yourself. Just put some tear and tape down, and call it a day. And how I'm going to use my pokey tool with this, and this is how I typically always remove mine because I always have such a tough time, is I will push it in a little bit in the middle of the tear and tape there. I'll press it in and then I'll scoot it along the edge, and then it removes it from the adhesive. Then I'll just bend it up. That way it's all ready to go. I can just pick it up and pull the rest of it off. But this is great. I just push it in a little bit as I go, take it to the end, flip it up like that. It's great. Love it. Okay. Grabbing glue dots. Here's another example. These are glue dots. They're similar to the ones that we went on the back of this, but this one has protection on either side. This one here, if you can see that right there, is a glue dot. And you can just grab this glue dot off of here with take your pick tool and place it wherever it is that you want it on your project. Where am I going to put it on today? I was going to put it on some, maybe I'll just use, here, I'm going to put it on the back of this guy. Hold on, I need my putty tip. And then I'm just going to put that little glue dot right here on the back of this snail slug. Whoops, cute snail slug. So great way to do that, whether you just don't have the dexterity, you don't, you've got fingernails, for whatever, that's going to be your best friend for using something like that. Removing dimensionals. If you're going to need a dimensional for something, you can just pick it up like this, place it on your piece. Let's say, I think I want this guy on dimensionals. I'll put one on this side for now. And then when you get ready to remove the backing, you can also use this to just poke it and pull it off this way. For now, I'm going to try and put that back on because I'll be working with that a little bit more later. And then I'm going to make some room here because I am going to be doing some die cutting with this piece here. I should have showed you these too. So let me move these. I'm going to bring in my cut and embossing machine. And I'm going to make a couple pieces for our project today. I've already got them taped on here just for stability. But as you see here, This one is going to have a lot of itsy bitsy little things that will be cut out of this piece that looks, it's going to be some greenery. This one here has lots of long skinny strips where this tool will come in handy. So I'm going to die cut both of these so that you can see what I'm talking about. I put my plate down there. Here we go. Earlier, I was talking to you about the spatula end. This is a great time to show you this one. Sometimes you may have a die that just is cutting just the outside edge of something, and especially if it's small, it may stick to your plate because it's, as you can see from this one here, this plate, that it does die cut all the way into the plate because it's going all the way through the cardstock, and you want to make sure that it does. So it's always going to go into to this plastic. But if it ever gets stuck and you can't really pull it off of there, just get your putty or your spatula end and try to pull it off of there. In this case, they're off, very easily come off. But this is a good tool for that. Let me switch it back to this guy because we're not done yet. Well, this one came out really nicely, but had it not, then I find it really easily just to take, let me see if I could just lay it back in there. Let's say you pick this up and that sucker is in there. Then I'll usually take this little guy and also I'll wait till I can find a little end, and then I'll just go underneath of it and kind of run it along the edge to remove it that way. I don't see any pieces that need to be poked out of this one. However, I'm pretty sure that I will on this one. So when I remove the piece on this one, you can see all the little pieces that are going to need to be punched out like this. And this is a great tool to use for that. But I'm also going to bring in this. This also comes with this brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to take the brush and I'm just going to run over it. As you can see, the pieces are just falling out. Here we go. See that? Fantastic. Look how quick that is. All of those pieces, and it just knocks them all off. Really, really great. Let's put this one over here. This is garbage. One last thing that I wanted to talk to you about with the pokey tool would be bling bling. Get one of these out. Decide, not sure what I'm going to put these on yet, so I will use it later. But this is another great way to get up underneath. Maybe I might use this one. If I were to get up underneath of that to grab it and then place it onto your project right where you want it. I'm going to put that back down and I'm going to use it later. Okay, pokey tool. Spatula, again, we talked about that a little bit. If you use paste for anything, or anything that's a little on the thicker side, anything you would use a spatula for, that's what you would just go ahead and pull that sucker, make it easy, wash it off when you're done, Simple Simon. And then again, removing dies from the plate if they were to get stuck on there. You can use your fingernail, but again, if you don't have fingernails or you find that difficult, go ahead and grab your spatula. Putty end, we showed you a little bit ago that it's really great for picking up little pieces of cardstock, bigger pieces of cardstock, even bigger pieces of cardstock. and even bigger pieces of cardstock. So for me, this comes in really handy because if I'm always dropping something in my lap and then it falls onto the floor and it shoots under the table, I crawl under there with my putty and I reach over and I grab it from under my table and I bring it up, and it makes it so much easier on me. So I love that about that. And then the same thing with the adhesive dots. With the glue dots that are adhesive dots like these, you just use the putty end, you scoot the bling, it'll stick to your putty, and then place it on your project right where you want to place it. I'm making a mess here. Okay, so that's your putty end. I'm going to close this one up. Your styluses are great for scoring your cardstock, for putting some putting some 3D into your flowers, and I'll show you how I do that. But for right now, I'm going to show you that I get my ruler out, and you can place wherever it is that you want to score it. You might want to mark it with a pencil, and then just take your stylus tool and go like this, press it into your cardstock. It'll make a nice impression, and then you can go ahead and fold your cardstock once you've done that. And I know that I remind my students of this all the time, but wherever you press in for your score line is where the paper is going to fold, mountain fold. And the way that I best explain that is when you put a score into cardstock, you've now sort of made a sort of a valley fold. So you've broken the fiber in the cardstock. And so now it's a little bit valley, which means it's already broken. So when you've scored it, which we've done on this side, it's going to, theoretically, if you were to look at a microscope, you're going to see the little dent from it. You're going to fold it so that that fold folds right into that dent that you put into the paper. Kind of confusing, kind of hard to do on the video. So this is the cardstock that I'm going to use for today's project. I'm going to give it a good score because, as you can see, once I score it, now it's nice and flat. And let me put my ruler away. And these are the pieces that I'm going to use on my card space. This one, I'll put that one on later. Let me put this, I have this one that's going to go just a little bit outside of, put a little bit of adhesive here in these corners. And then right about like that will be my card front. I'm going to be putting this over here, and I'm going to need to cut a little bit of this off. I meant to do that before the video, but I think I will just do it after I adhere it. Now I know I have some tear and tape on here already. Let me rip that off. I'm going to use some adhesive for this one. Tiny bit, because that's really all you need is a tiny bit of adhesive when you're using the liquid glue. I'm going to put this all the way to the top, about there. Almost missed it with the glue, a little bit of glue showing. And I will let that rest for a little bit. Now, I was going to show you this, the stylus end. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be using one of these little flowers, and I'm going to take this in the middle, and I'll bring this up so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to take this in the middle, and I'm just going to start making little circles, kind of pressing in, making circles, making those circles a little bit bigger, kind of go back into the middle again, press while you're doing it. And now you have sort of a 3D flower. I don't know if you can see that. And I can't decide. I think I put some, I'm going to do this one too. I put a little bit of Wink Stella on these earlier to give them a little bit of shine. You can also just kind of press on them if you want to do that. So that's how I knew I was going to be using this one. So here we have our flower. So another great way to use your stylus. If you're not scoring, you could be adding some height to your flowers. And let's see if I'm going to be using my tools along the way here. So I'm going to start assembling my card here. I'm going to use some glue for this. Try to hurry up so I don't use up too much of your time. I'll have that right about there. Put my block to hold that down. And then I'm going to bring in this one. And this one. And this guy. I need another dimensional for this guy. And I'm going to use the dimensionals come in two sizes. Here's your large ones. Here's your small ones. I'm going to use a small one for this guy because two of the large ones are not going to fit on my moth here. So I'm just going to grab this one and put this on this side here. I'm going to remove the backing off of this one. Remove the backing off of this one. I'm going to put him up here. And this one, my green guys, and these two things that I got nice and lifted. I think I want these behind here. So I'm going to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. I'll put that there, but I need to have this greenery, shrubbery showing a little bit more. I'll do that. Maybe about there. I might have to do that again for this guy. And then I guess I'll put that in there. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. get these in place. I know that I want this guy right in the middle. Let me grab some glue, put a tiny bit of couple dots. It's going to be under everything, so I don't have to worry about it too much. And I'm going to put that right there. And then again, quickly put just a couple of dots on this one. Again, underneath, so I don't really need a whole lot. This guy, right there. Right about there. Smash that down. And now I am going to put these up on dimensionals. Grab a dimensional, put one on the bottom, put one on the top. Take the backing off. Right there. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Dimensional. Dimensional. I'm just going to grab the backing this time. Right about there. And then I thought I put a glue dot on the back of one of those. Oh, but I do have, where's my snail? Oh, there's where my dots went. Oh well. I don't know, my little snail, he's around here somewhere. Here he is. I'm gonna put my snail right down there. I think he's so cute. Right there. And oh heck, I'm gonna do dimensionals on these guys too. I think I'm gonna go with the smaller ones though. I just wanna make sure that I'm not getting them to stick out over the edges. One more dimensional. Take the backing off. I'm gonna tuck it under there. Take the backing off. Maybe stick that under there. And again, more dimensionals because why not? There we go. Put this on up here. Right about there. And there you have it. I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to cut this piece off. And then I'm going to put the whole thing down on the card base that I made for it earlier. But there you go. I used pretty much everything but paste, using all the different ways that you could use the take your pick tool. So whether you're using the stylus end to make your scores, whether you are using the putty end to pick things up and picking up some bling, you're making holes or using this to pick things up, tape, tear, and tape off. The spatula that is on the inside, where they're using the brush to get all of those little pieces out of a die cut piece, then this tool is for you. Let me put the caps back on it. And I've already lost the cap. All right. Oh, it's because it's on there. I'm such a dope sometimes. So there you go, you guys. Take your pick tool. I hope you've enjoyed this video and learned some more ways that maybe you didn't already know about how to use the Take Your Pick tool. I would love it if you are liking this video. Please go ahead and hit the thumbs up so that I know that this has been enjoyable to people. And while you're there, click the little bell so that you can be notified whenever I come on with another monthly tip video. And again, while you're there, check out the video description. I'll have links to the supplies that I've used today, to my information, so that you can reach me if you have any questions, and so that you can check out my online store and kind of check and see what other kind of crafty goodies are there. Okay? Thanks so much for taking your time and spending it with me today. For now, I'm going to say bye-bye.